What if fixing a scratched fender in just 2 hours could put $700 in your pocket right in someone's driveway? Since 2011, my business has repaired thousands of fenders just like this one and generated millions in revenue. So in this video, I'm going to show you my exact process step by step so you can see how easy it is to start building your own six-figure mobile auto body business, even if you're totally new at this. All right, guys, we're here today. We have a deep scratch in a fender that we're going to be repairing. We're actually going to sand out this damage, prime it, paint it, and clear coat the whole fender. And the reason we're going to clear coat the whole fender and not do a blend is because it's right in the middle of the fender and I don't want two blend lines. Not to mention, we're really not too far away from these two seams, and there's no sense not to clear coat an additional 4 inches. By the time you sand out this damage, you're going to keep creating a larger area, right? Because we need to prime it and then we need to blend out our base coat. By the time you do all that, you just need to clear coat this fender. It's not a huge fender. It gets very narrow down here at the dog leg. You're not going to be using a whole lot of product. I mean, honestly, this is less than a 90-minute long repair, and the customer wants it to be perfect. The scratch is all the way down to the metal, and that's why we're actually going to be sanding out the damage and repairing it a quote-unquote perfect repair. Since I'm going to be repairing and painting and clear coating the entire fender, I'm charging $700 for this job, and like I said, it'll be done in about 90 minutes or so. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this video for a really quick second. If you're a hands-on car enthusiast and you want to build a real business with the kind of freedom that most people only talk about, this opportunity might make a lot of sense for you. Just click the link down in the description to work with me directly inside my mobile auto body accelerator. Now, let's get back to the video. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do before we clean it, there's a lot of debris in the air this time of year. Trees are dropping stuff. I'm going to go ahead and use my blowgun and kind of blow out all of the seams around the plastic, the door, where it meets the bumper and the hood. And then I'm going to go ahead and tape this off before I start sanding because I don't want to damage this plastic trim. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use some wax and grease remover and spray it directly onto our cloth. And we're just going to clean off the entire fender into the door, the hood, and the bumper. That way it's clear of debris and our tape will stick really well. All right, so it just got it all cleaned off with wax and grease remover. I'm going to go ahead and tape off this plastic trim like I said before. And that way, when I go to sand, I don't accidentally hit this plastic trim. So I'm probably going to put, 3 layers of tape or so on this in case the edge of my sander catches it. All right, so as you can see, I went ahead and taped off all around our panel, and it's a little windy today. So I'm actually going to be using plastic wrap to cover the car. So I know a lot of you guys are concerned about doing this outside, doing this when it's windy. I mean, just like the intro says, we've been doing this for 15 years outside. And so we've generated millions of dollars in revenue, the technicians have, and we work outside in the elements and there's wind. We also work all year round. I know that's another concern that people have is what do you do when it's cold? What do you do when it's hot? We work, to be honest with you. So the chemicals that we use are designed for outdoor use, and basically we just change up what we're using. So we change up the concoction, if you will, of what we're using when it comes to the clear coat. So when it's hot outside, we'll use slow activator. When it's cold outside, we'll use fast or extra fast activator in our clear coat. Our base coats, we always use heat guns. Even in the summertime, to be honest with you, I use a heat gun because it just helps the water flash out of the paint faster. I do use waterborne paint. If you use solvent-based paint, it does flash a little bit quicker. You don't necessarily need to use a heat gun. So we can do different things to combat that. And on days where it's windy, I've got the car positioned. The wind is actually blowing away from me. So when I spray, it's going to blow that way. And I know that overspray is a big concern for people, and that's one other thing that I wanted to address. We are using such small quantities here, guys. I'm only mixing up about, honestly, it's probably only going to take 1 ounce of paint for this, but you kind of have to mix up a little bit more than that just to make sure that you've got color accuracy in the formula. So I'll mix up about 1.5 ounces of paint for this, and I'll mix a 2 up on the clear coat. It's not very much material. And you have to realize that that material that you're mixing up is actually going on the substrate. There's very little of it is going in the air. I kind of equate it to a sneeze. So when you sneeze, you see this big, if you were to slow it down on a slow camera, you see this big water vapor come out of someone's mouth with all this water droplets. But really, if you were to take that and you were to condense that down, it'd probably fit on the head of a pen. So it's really not that much material going out into the atmosphere. So like I said, we've got this taped off. I'm going to go ahead and use my tire cover and get this on here to protect the tire from sanding dust. And once I go to spray, we don't want to get any overspray or anything on the tire. I'm going to go ahead and buzz this down with some 320. Once I get it to the point where we're going to prime, I'll then go ahead and plastic the vehicle off. And just one more thing I did want to address with being outside. I talked a little bit about overspray, but the other thing is dust that's in the air. A lot of people think that body shops are these sterile environments where they make microchips. It is not the case, okay? Professional painters will tell you they get dust nibs in their clear coat. We do as well. Now, sometimes you don't, and it's awesome. If you do, the clear coat that I use and that most mobile painters use cures very quickly. It's dust free in about 6 minutes. So there's not a lot of time for dust and debris to land in the clear coat. After 6 minutes, you're usually good. If you do get dust nibs in the clear coat, I simply break out the infrared heat lamp. I bake it for 15 minutes, let it cool for a minute or two, and then I can actually start wet sanding and buffing and polishing it just like a professional body shop does. All right, so at this point, we're ready to start sanding. Now again, there's no dent with this damage. It's just a scratch that's all the way down to the metal. So I'm simply just going to use some 320 on my DA sander, and I'm just going to buzz this down flat. We want to avoid getting up on our edges of this and try to use, keep the sander as flat as possible, sort of this outer half. So we don't want to create like any deep gouges. And we want to feather this out and keep it smooth. And then we'll use our, I usually like to follow up with 320 by hand to kind of feather out the edges and really make it nice and smooth so we don't get any edge mapping. And then I'll follow it up with my scuff pad, and then we'll use some high build primer to make sure that it's nice and smooth and flat. And again, you don't see any edge mapping. Now, before I get into the sanding, I did just want to mention, I get, asked a lot of questions when I have calls with you guys. And I just wanted to say the great thing about this type of business, I know it's a new business opportunity. It's not something that's super well known out in the general public. It's existed for decades, sort of behind the scenes, guys doing dealership lots, but it's definitely, well, I'm doing my part to sort of bring it to the forefront, top of mind for the consumer so that we explode this business. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for anybody to get started in this. If you're a hands-on guy and you like cars, this is an awesome business to have. I mean, guys, it's 10:50 in the morning. I've been working on this for 15 minutes. I'm getting ready to sand it. I'll be done with this, like I said, in less than 90 minutes. I'll be done by lunch. And I can spend the rest of the day working on my business. Not to mention, I will have generated $700. Your employer is not going to pay you $700, but your customers will. And the amount of material that I'm going to use on this job, honestly, is like 5%. My gross margin on this is over 90%, guys. I mean, you're the one that's doing the labor. Your supply costs are low for this, so your direct supply cost of goods to do this job are only about 5%. I'm probably going to use less than $30 or so in materials. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to get started sanding this and let's get this smoothed out. So if you feel this with your glove helps you feel. You can sort of feel this edge right here. So what you want it to look like is this. You want to see these layers of panel, primer, and base and clear coat nice and flattened out. So you kind of want that everywhere. So again, you don't get that edge mapping. If I don't feather this out right here, you could see an edge underneath your primer and base coat, and you cannot hide that. So you've really got to work on the prep and make sure this is nice and feathered out. All right, at this point, we are done with the sander. We're not going to need that anymore. That kind of does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So now I'm just going to take a piece of 320 and put it on a block here. And I'm just going to work, like I said, on feathering out these edges. Kind of just move side to side, back and forth, the crosshatch pattern. It just helps with cutting, makes it go a little bit faster. I don't know if you can really pick this up in the camera, but see how you're getting just this nice feathered out, all the layers all around the damaged area. That's what you want to start to see. All right, I've got all of my edges smoothed out by hand. I'm satisfied with that. When I feel it, I don't feel anything. We're also going to use some high build primer, like I said, to build this back up, smooth this out. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and blow off any sanding dust and get ready to use my sanding sponge. And remember, I said at the beginning of the video, I'm actually going to go ahead and clear coat this entire panel, which means I need to scuff the entire panel, being sure to get into any and all seams that clear coat overspray is going to blow into. That way we don't have any failure points. So let me go ahead and blow this off. We'll scuff the whole thing. And then before I spray, we'll go ahead and put our plastic on, and then we'll go ahead and start priming. All right, so as you can see, we fought the wind a little bit and got the entire car plastic wrapped, and I've got it taped off, and I just need to put a little piece of tape right there to keep any overspray from getting underneath that plastic. I went ahead and scuffed the entire panel, and I've wiped it off with wax and grease remover. And so now the next step is I need to apply some high build primer. Kind of a rule of thumb is you just look to see what color primer the manufacturer here used. It's gray, so I'm going to use gray. Typically it's gray, black, or white. I carry all three, so I'm just going to go ahead, shake this primer can for a couple of minutes. I'm going to grab my heat gun, and I'm going to put 2 to 3 layers of high build primer. I do like to scuff in between each layer of primer just so that I can see if there's any edge mapping at all and that's nice and smooth, because if something's orange peeled and then you just keep spraying on top of it, it's going to be orange peeled underneath. So I just like to smooth each layer out. It just takes a couple of minutes to do it. And then once we get that done, we will grab our base coat that I've already mixed up. I did want to mention this. I feel like I mention it in every single process video that I do, but I do always look up the paint code to the car first before I ever start tearing into it. That way I know that I have every single toner that I need in order to mix the paint up on site right at the customer's house. With that, I'm going to shake this can for 2 minutes, and then we will start applying our first layer of high build primer. All right, we've gotten coverage with our primer. I've scuffed the panel and I've wiped it down with wax and grease remover, and now it's time to apply the base coat. Once I get coverage in my primer, then I want to start blending out my base coat, and then finally I'll drop my pressure a little bit and I'll finish up with a drop coat before moving on to the clear coat. All right, so we've got our base coat on, and I finished up with what I call a drop coat. I just lowered the pressure slightly and just sort of dusted on the metallics to get everything nice and evened out. And now we're ready for clear coat. We're gonna do 2 wet coats of clear. Now that does depend on what clear coat brand that you're using. What I'm using requires 2 wet coats. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay down my first wet coat, and I'm going to let that flash off, cure for a few minutes. And one thing you can do to check is you can go to where some tape is at next to the panel, and you can put your thumb there and pull away. And what you want to see is you want it to be really stringy, like spider webs. And so that will be tacked up enough to where you can go ahead and put your second wet coat of clear down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that first coat of clear on. All right, so I got the second coat of clear on here. Did get a few dust nibs in it. It's normal. It's very windy today. A lot of times when I spray, I actually don't get dust nibs in it, but it is windy, so I did get a few in there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this tape and paper and plastic off the car. I'm gonna put the heat lamp on here for 15 minutes. I'm gonna bake it, and then it'll be ready for a wet sand, buff, and polish, and then I'll deliver it to the customer. And for the fastest and easiest way to build a mobile auto body business, you're gonna wanna watch this next video right here.